Alright, what's up guys? This is Chris Calder with a Poise tutorial on how to configure it. Assuming you got everything set up in your DAW and your MIDI controllers ready to go. So to save some time, I'm just going to show you how I have mine set up. Go into menu, trigger map. I already built my trigger map. I'm using machine as a controller and occasionally a Korg pad control. You build your trigger map, and if you don't know how to do that, just click an empty cell until you get the right click an empty cell until it says, learn trigger notes. And for me, like you hit the pad with the mouse, then you hit the pad in your controller, pad mouse, pad controller, blah, blah, blah. We got it. It's all ready to go. You can save it. I already built a kit, but I'm going to erase this kit because it's irrelevant right now. All right, so menu, trigger maps ready to go. Output stereo pair. I usually never use separate outputs, but you can if you want. That's DAW dependent. Pad view name, great. Select pad with MIDI notes on. Hell yeah, that's the way to go. These I don't mess with. Options, skin. I use the lime flavor dark skin usually. Love it. And I also like Ava 1.5 by Nick Moritz. That's a great looking skin as well. So we're going to go into options. I have all these checked off except for invert drum pads because I want them to match what I hit. Like if I'm hitting the bottom left on my pad controller or whatever, I want the bottom left pad to light up on Poise. It seems very logical. All right, one-click triggers pad, useful, normalized. Don't have to do that, but it's kind of useful. Browser visible by default. I think that's huge and important. Obviously, it's going to use up a little more screen real estate, but it's not a big deal, as you can see. Whatever. So there's my browser. And enable MIDI through, I haven't changed that. Sample directories, I have a full drive with sample loops, and then I have a separate folder. I use Reaper as my main DAW. So I have just like a simple quick thing if I want to build a quick kit or like a quick, chop kit or whatever. I got a separate folder. And my drum kits, my Poise drum kits are in Reaper/samples. You can put them wherever you want. I don't mess with any of that stuff. Okay, so let's build a kit, pretty much. This is how it's done. Go into your folder where your samples are. I love this one. Whoops, that's the wrong folder. So I'm listening to my kicks. I'm checking them out. Doesn't matter. Once I like one, I drag it in. I'll show you guys how to layer your drums, which is a piece of cake with Poise. So I'm going to do that with the snare. So we're going to use that one. I'm going to use that one. Get some beef with that low end one. Maybe a little bit of snap and crack right there. So as you can see, all these are layered. Let me deselect this stuff because I hate when that happens sometimes. So these are all the separate layers. I'm clicking them with the mouse, as you can see. But when I hit the pad on my controller, you get all the layers, which is great. It's a piece of cake. This option right here, layer tight, this gives you the pad cell options. You got single, velocity, round robin, random, layer tight, layer loose, and edit velocity ranges. Editing velocity ranges is really useful if you want to build like a really realistic drum kit. Like if you have like really soft snare hits and then really loud ones from the same library, you could build it so if you hit the pad, harder, it's gonna trigger those samples. Any of you guys who have done in-depth sampling will understand what I mean. I don't really mess with that though, so I don't really care. So basically layer tight is a great thing. Poise always has that as a default. Round robin is cool if you want to basically rotate, like every time you hit, like if I do round robin, I'll hit the snare pad. It'll just cycle through the layers. I'm hitting the one pad over and over again. It's just round robining the layers. Piece of cake, you know what I mean? It's useful for some stuff. I don't really care. Layer tight is what I like. Get nice beef with that. Alright, so that is pretty much how you layer in Poise. It's a piece of cake. Alright, so we're going to drop in a hi-hat. I don't care which one. So right here I got 3 pads. I got a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat. I can start, making my beat, playing around. It's a piece of cake. When you want to save the kit, you just click up here. Now see where it says Save Drum Kit plus Samples and Folder? That's what you want. That's the best one. Pick where you store them and label the kit. In this case, I saved this earlier. Tutorial kit, piece of cake, So all the samples are going to be in the same folder that the kit file, which is a DKT file. It's all going to be there. It's going to be easy, cool. All right. So that is the basics of building a drum kit in Poise. The second video I'm going to make is going to be how to do chops. Basically just building like MPC style, chops, funky hits, all that shit. So basically hang tight and I will get that one recorded and uploaded shortly. So thanks for watching.